friend Gillette, the one with the hat, standing there with my partner Teller, the one with the hat. We've come to India to explore the legend of the Indian rope trick. But there's more to India than the rope trick. In theory, fire walking is easy with dry feet and coals burned to ash. That's the theory. I sent Teller first. You okay? He's not showing it. You know, I'm not a god man. I don't believe in superstition. I'm just a magician from Vegas.
It's Penn and Teller. They're on the road together, but their magic carpet's just a dirty rug. So long, Las Vegas, they're someplace contagious and get infected by the magic bug. Around the world, down exotic streets, to gaze upon amazing and disgusting feats. Adventure calls, you got the cups and balls to stunning blood and guts and gore and more. Come join them as they travel and the mysteries unravel on the magic and mystery tour.
We're in India, one of the few places on earth that still has real street magicians doing real street magic. It's also home of the most famous magic act, the Indian rope trick, where a rope just goes right up in the air, snakes its way up, little kid climbs up, vanishes, magician climbs after him, slices him up, and then throws him back down, and little pieces all come back together. So, it's probably not true, but we're going to be looking for it. You know, I'm thinking of making cheeseburgers. We're not the first to come looking for the Indian rope trick. I'll tell you, showing people a piece of rope will do nuts. There's no excited there about that. The teller saw the cheat right away. When the rope flies up, the film is just being played in reverse. And behind it is a big old steel pole. The British officer who filmed this in the 1930s searched India for 2 years with no luck before he gave up and staged this scam rope trick. The legendary rope trick features a child being sliced up, but that's never been filmed, only reported. We believe it's just a myth, but we wanted to figure out how that myth came to be. India is Professor Lee Siegel. Teller loved his book on Indian street magic and asked Lee to meet us in New Delhi, India's capital. The main character in the book is Naseeb Khan. Lee began studying Naseeb's show over 10 years ago. Naseeb has the best act in town. It's our kind of show, a bloody, gory show, a life and death drama, as Lee explains.
I think the way to understand an Indian magic show is as a show, as a play. And what always dazzles me more than any of the individual scenes or tricks is the way we start out with some sort of conflict between father and son, played for laughs. But it's that transition from funny into horror. And then, out of that horror, some sort of resurrection. And when they're scary, when Naseeb's eyes are burning furiously, he's scary. And he's a very good actor. This show has its origin in the guy who is selling his powers.
The cutting restoration, Nasib's son's tongue is bloody. It reminds us of the myth about the boy being sliced up on the rope trick. Only money from the audience will bring his son back to life. Then Nasib sells lucky rings to people who just might believe he has real magic powers. Lee took us to meet other street magicians. If anyone's gonna know about the rope trick, it's these guys. They all live in Shadowwood, a makeshift housing colony next to the Southern Delhi bus depot. Shadowwood is one of the poorest areas in Delhi, but the cream of India's magicians live here. In India, street magicians belong to a gypsy caste. Families traditionally travel to wherever there is a crowd. Only in the last 50 years have the wandering magicians settled down, and now they've formed their own magicians union, with all Delhi street magicians living in an area that's just 400 square yards. Well, it ain't the Teamsters. We were honored guests. Hope this chair holds, will this will hold my weight? Sure. No song. The head of the Magicians Union is Tenn Peller. Tenn Peller is, a different kind of leader. Really hard, tight.
Big time, okay? Thank you. This is checking to please. This is loose. Check. No? You check it?
Yes.
Okay, tight, hard.
Tight and hard. Yeah. This is net, this side.
You checking to please net here?
Yep, there's it up.
Yes? You checking?
Okay, looking.
I am talking 1, 2, 3. This is not this is here. Okay? Beggy, and Jill. This is not this is here. Okay? Checking?
Wonderful. Doing it just once like that makes it such a more powerful event to just do it on top of each other and just have that in your hand and then vanish. It's a much more miraculous trick. The way I've seen it before has always been a little smarmy and condescending. You know, you can't even tie a knot type thing. Whereas this was presented as a miracle, which I think is much stronger. And it's just a handkerchief, like all their props. They're just stuff they handle.
Looking, this is Indian basket. This is 1 empty, 3. Huh? Okay. This is my boy. This is here. Okay?
Tenn Peller finished with one of the oldest tricks in India.
Okay? Thank Shabbos. This is all cloth. Empty. Shabbos. Can you please? Shabbos. Very good. This is my boy. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. Go. Maldi, sikine hareket. One hand, one finger. This is my boy, small boy. Going. Looking. 1, 2, and 3. This is. Are you? This side. Very tight. Small basket. Small boy. Looking. Disappear. Shabbos.
The boy disappeared. Chan Pasha restored him unharmed. It's the mythical rope trick's simple cousin. No blood, but the same idea. Great. It's amazing. That's a good trick. That's why people do it. That trick is done all the time in the States, lousily.
Yeah, and again, clearly a very old trick that would have been done for hundreds or perhaps thousands of
The
years.
kid doesn't look that old either. The Magician's Union includes jugglers. Next on the bill, Ram Prasad, a spinning top juggler.
Good?
ये रुका है क्या लाई अरे रुक जा ये लकड़ी अरे कान पकड़ स्टार्ट अरे रुक जा बेटा क्या लकड़ी अरे रुक लकड़ी क्या लकड़ी अरे वाह लकड़ी बंद है लड्डू चल रहा है
That's great. I loved this guy and wanted to talk to him, but we couldn't with the racket downstairs. I hate it. Nassim show at the Red Fort in the heart of Old Delhi. His act features mutilating and restoring his sons. Once again, echoes of the bloody rope trick stories. The Red Fort was a king's palace. Magicians have always performed here.
You know it's a magician because when it's a bear guy or a snake guy, it's a circle, whereas with a magician, he's got the oval because of the two characters.
The two characters are Nassim and his eldest son, Ayasen. They sit at either end of an oval. The oval shape helps with misdirection, essential when you're totally surrounded by the crowd. Nassim draws the crowd with some sleight of mouth tricks. them to his sons. Even Teller couldn't keep his eye off the ball. That's good misdirection. It has to be. The crowd only pay Nassim if they stay to the end of the show. Next, to mouthfuls of sharp thorns.
Again, always that movement from the banana to the slightly disgusting. And scary.
It's a lot of thorns. But before the good bloody part, the show's interrupted by the police. Our translator Chips goes green to explain that it's all okay. Lee is trying to convince the police that we do have the proper permits he can perform and he's getting anywhere. Meanwhile, the show just goes on. The Indian authorities associate the low-caste magicians with street crime, not entertainment. How you doing? What was up there? What's going on? Does that happen often to you?
ऐसा ही होता है कि जैसे हम यहाँ करते हैं very common thing for him that wherever they put up a show, sometime during the show somebody will come and disrupt the show, and usually the police or something, and usually what he's trying to say is they're not gentle, they always come and try to give them a rap and push them off with force.
Were they worse because we were there?
What he's saying is, because of the fact that you were there, and because of the fact that there was something going on, that is exactly why they did not get beaten up. Otherwise, it's just...
Well, actually, they would have beaten you and gotten into the game. The revolution would have been televised.
Yeah, it was because of you being there with the force which you know kept the same.
But you didn't get a chance to sell your rings. You didn't make money off that show, is that right?
It's just that even if the cops find any money lying with them in their pocket, they take that away from them also.
Oh, man.
Forget about earning anything else.
You gotta get your broken camera to carry around.
If you put a fake camera or a broken camera and they make out that it's fake or broken, they'll probably put a case number 420 from the Constitution and put them into jail for 4 or 5 years.
Okay, so it was a bad idea. I was just blue sky. Just blue sky with you. See what I can come up with at the top of my head. Teller and I started out doing magic on the streets, but not in India.
We performed in Philadelphia, in the U.S. mostly, and it's illegal there. So we had to also deal with peace officers on the beat, but we dealt with them by being friendly and getting them to like us. There were never any actual bribes. They would talk to us after a show and say, you can't work here, but they never broke up our show. And the other chilling thing is, of course, they would never consider or even threaten to beat us, whereas Nassim said that thing that just made my heart skip, where he said if we weren't there, they would have beaten them. So certain things are universal and certain things are very country specific in the street performing scam.
Nassim hadn't told us anything about Indian magicians' action. Nassim hadn't told us anything about Indian magicians actually performing the rope trick. So we went back to Shadapur. Magic rings have not brought luxury to Nassim's family. He, his wife, his children, and their wives and children live in this small space when they're in Shadapur.
Nassim Saab. Nassim. Tenn Peller. Oh, how you doing?
Shadapur is built for normal-sized magicians.
This ladder is not going to hold me. Here we go. He told you.
I'm 6'6" and I weigh 278 pounds. After the ladder incident, I'm going to sit over here on the cement. I'm sorry about your ladder. Tell her to get down to business right away. We wanted to show our respect for Nassim, so Teller made a prop for him in our workshop in Las Vegas. He said it would come in handy. Chips, tell him that it might be better to use that on his child's neck. You're the kind of father knows me? That would be a great father. Fit right in then. He took naturally to that slicing off the head of a child, didn't he? It's like a duck to water. The demon barber of Shadapur. Thank you anyway. Nassim liked the blood in our little magic show. Look at the Batman movie. He told us that blood worked in his show. Then he said he'd take us to see his nephew, Isamuddin. Isamuddin was trained by Nassim and claims to perform the Indian rope trick. Nice to see you on Nassim magically mended my pants. To get there, we had to pass the puppets again. I hate puppets. The route winds through a maze of tents and perpetually half-finished entertainers' halls. We weren't prepared for what we saw around this point. Chips told us about the animal handlers. Performing animals like these are now illegal in India, so the beasts are kept tethered to the ground. The conditions are grim. In Shadapur, every corner holds a new surprise. The next one was Isamuddin.
Isamuddin, who used to work as his assistant, a very young, small assistant, better known in Hindi as Jamur. And he works out of Ukomi on the way. He's his nephew.
Also, last thing we expect to find here is another magician in a suit.
First, today my father will perform for you. He will show you some Indian traditional magic.
And you do a little more Western magic than traditional, or?
No, I don't want to do Western magic anymore because I want to do my own traditional magic. And I want to develop my own magic, which is my family profession. And it is our very typical Indian magic.
ताली बजा रहे हैं, आप देखो आप इसको खा जाए।
Isamuddin's father, Manoj Khan, had taught Naseem. He came out of retirement for us.
हाथ बंदे खोल कर।
We've been told you're going to be doing some magic for us, is that right?
Yes, I'm going to perform the Great Indian Rope Trick for you.
Oh, really?
So I will try to do my best for you, and I hope you will like the magic.
And where are you going to do the rope trick?
I will do it in behind of Taj Mahal in Agra.
Oh, good. We look forward to seeing it. The famous Indian rope trick. There's the guy that's going to do it. So we finally found an Indian magician who does the rope trick. And they'll do it for us at the Taj Mahal in the city of Agra.
Shadapur, I've never been to a place like that. And I've seen stuff like that in those slums on TV where you're seeing Shadapur as well. And being there with that, the filth of the water and the flies and the misery. And it wasn't just a field trip to see, how bad poverty can get. It was that these were magicians, people we knew, people we liked, people we saw doing shows, and they have all this incredible culture. And I would trade, of course, all the culture for one clean bathroom and a flush toilet. But seeing them living like that was very sobering. Except the puppet people, and they deserve to live like that all over the world.
While we waited for Isamuddin's rope trick, we went to see Ayasan perform. He's Naseeb's eldest son and heir to the inventory of rings. We needed to understand why people buy the rings. There's nothing Teller and I hate more than magicians who claim supernatural powers. Well, except puppet people. Ayasan's show is bloody and again has elements of the rope trick. The boy, the violence, the resurrection. But no rope, only a monkey skull. Tetanus is the least of his worries.
यार ये मर जाएगा बच्चा, ये परेशान हो जाएगा। मरे मत। 10 रुपए का रंग लगा लो अपने हाथ पे लाके। अगर रंग को लगा के ना ऐसे हटा के बताओगे मैं।
It looked like real blood. The audience was hooked, and so were we.
जाने की सोच रहा है कि चला जाऊंगा। अपने हाथ में निकाल लेना 10 रुपया सब आदमी। उसको पकड़ना निकाल के। अभी रगड़ रहा है, सोच रहा है कि दूं के नहीं दूं। ये गर्दन है ना, इसकी यहाँ रख दूंगा निकाल के, फिर बाद में जांच हो जाएगी, देख लो।
there was a lot of
सुनो
just
बेटा एक
brute force.
Yeah, and terror.
Yeah, I would say that in the U.S., that audience participation would be called assault and battery. Would be both.
इस फ्री कोई पैसा नहीं एक पत्थर एक दुआ पे स्टैम्प
The knife was taken out. Samjad had his life magically restored, and Ayasan began the ring selling.
से कैसे रखा जाएगा
Is Ayasan just exploiting his audience's fears?
कैसे दबा के रेत में जनाब निकल जाएगा कैसे
It seemed a bit too close to some religious cause. Surely they were buying the rings out of fear. It didn't feel quite right, so I asked Lee about it. Did they really believe?
एक अच्छी बात सोच के
You made it clear to him that it isn't that great power, that it's a good luck.
Right, so they're not really believing this is going to solve their problems.
They hope it'll help.
They hope it'll help.
Yeah.
When the expensive rings came out, it looked like a few superstitious types were going to be swindled out of some serious coin. But Teller and I were sucked in by the blood. We arranged with Lee to help Nassib in his next show. Teller does Delhi. We traveled across Delhi to the affluent Khan Market area where Nassib was performing. Teller and I were to play tourists watching the show. My role was the loud American. I'm trying to stretch. No one would suspect we were in cahoots with Nassib. After Teller had merged in as a tourist, I quietly approached the scene. Hey, Coach Chief! What's the act here? What's the deal? Hey! What are you, snake charmer? You snake charmer?
Oh, look. My clever nephew seems to have done that.
Funny. Where'd you get his fight? Your snake gonna play a flute? What are you doing?
He thinks that he's wiser than me.
Magician! Shadu! We got a tiger? I want to see a tiger! Okay, boy, go on with your act, don't mind me.
He doesn't understand what we're doing. What a complete idiot.
Just carry on.
His brain's so far from the ground that there's no oxygen getting up there. Stand back, stand back. You know where you should stand.
A sip from a soft drink can full of fake blood was the cue for Nassib to throw a curse at me, but hit Teller instead.
His voice cut out and will never speak again.
Nassib made more money on account of cursing some foreigners. Teller and I get a kick out of it at the time. We didn't feel so happy on reflection. There's so many cultural differences to try to absorb between their style of performing and ours that I think we're a little bit misdirected. I mean, the father and son thing is fabulous, how these kids start working on the street when they're 4 or 5 years old. So, we like Nassib. He's a good guy. He welcomed us to his home. He's one of the reasons we're here because of his relationship with Lee. But, you know, I think a lot of people are believing the jive about the magic rings, and I think they are buying that kind of good luck. We couldn't help but having the kind of disquieting thoughts after we left that if he were an American, working for an American crowd, doing that same level of false information about the world and religion and so on, we'd be fighting him tooth and nail. Now, Seebzak always has his son, some miracles, and some blood. Maybe over time, parts of different tricks were blended together to form the story of the Indian rope trick. Isamuddin's rope trick in the Taj Mahal was a few days away, so we headed 914 miles east to Calcutta in West Bengal. It was Bengali magicians who performed the first reported rope trick 1,200 years ago. Look at that. Stop, train, pull, chain. It rhymes. A penalty for use without reasonable and sufficient cause, fine up to 1,000 rupees. Now, 1,000 rupees is about $42. If we pull that chain, the whole train stops, and we have a lot of fun. I think we have more than $22 worth of fun just like that. And also, what does it mean, reasonable, sufficient cause? Isn't shenanigans reasonable and sufficient? Oh, man. We would get so yelled at, but it would be so fun. As we traveled, we had some time to think about the Shadowpool magicians. They led us into the culture of Indian magic and made us feel a part of their magicians' community. We saw Shadowpool as more than a slum. Not quite Vegas, but still a magician's town. first appeared in India. Every act seemed to involve a magician inflicting cruelty on a member of his family. It's fun, gruesome stuff. Take the thread of the god drama. An assistant eats a piece of cotton and has it cut and sucked in his stomach. The guy in the rumble ate a chicken raw. Another guy ate a pigeon. I had him on a roll. These guys are on my side. This is nutty. After the show, the magician wanted to tell us about all 12 of his cast members. All we cared about were the wild men.
Last third, last sources.
It's always the ending of the show.
Always.
Always the ending.
You don't want to follow that wild man thing.
Yeah.
Now what are you going to bring out after that? A ventriloquist? No. Once you got the wild man, you're out.
Yeah.
Where'd you get your wild man?
এই যে আপনার ওরা পূজারা করে এরা কি আপনার কি করে
আমার ভগ্নিপতি
ও this the two wild men were his son-in-laws. Is it brother-in-laws?
Your brother-in-law.
Yeah, brother-in-laws. So
Yeah, you know, I'm in that same position. My brother-in-law's a wild man as well. It's your daughter that you set her head on fire,
যার
right?
মাথায় আগুন দিলেন সে কি?
আমার ওয়াইফ
Oh, that's his wife.
Oh, your wife. Oh, if you burn your wife's head.
Yeah.
Your brother-in-laws eat raw chickens and snakes, and your little brother gets skewers through his cheeks. It's the Indian nuclear family. I know that some crybabies in the West are going to be upset by them ripping apart live birds with their teeth. And some would say that you could rationalize it by saying that it's a different culture. We have to accept that. But I don't think that's the way to rationalize it. It's a goddamn chicken! Toughen up! It's just a chicken! How many chickens you kill a day in just the UK? Self-righteous son of a bitch. It's just a chicken! After the Wild Men's crazy show, there was a bit of time to calm down. From the Bengal countryside, we were to travel to Agra, to the Taj Mahal, to Isamuddin's rope trick. There's only one way to arrive for a performance of the Indian rope trick behind the Taj Mahal. I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but we're in India now. The Indian elephant, the Cadillac of these diversions. Well done. I still like India. The Indian elephant, the Cadillac, and the Indian elephant, the Winnebago of beasts of burden. The shuttle, the space shuttle, the Atlantis of beasts of burden. Beasts of burden. We brought a bell to the local temple to thank the villagers for letting Isamuddin perform here. That was pretty fun. How do you get down from an elephant? You don't get down from an elephant, you get down from a duck. Oh, here we are.
You hold it. It is the rope, and you can feel it. The rope inside. real rope. It is a sailor's rope. Okay?
Yes, it is. Real rope, real hand.
This is here. Thanks. Now you give me this, and now you will stand at your place. Thank you. Thank you very much.
The Indian rope
And
trick.
अभी सर
Come over here.
मेरे पास
Y'all.
ये हमारे पास एक खाली बास्केट. ये खाली.
Remember, the traditional trick has the magician chase a boy up the rope. He chops the boy to pieces. They fall to the ground and he reassembles the parts, bringing him back to life.
के अंदर मैंने रख दिया यहाँ पर, और सब अच्छे देखिएगा और सब लोग देखिएगा यहाँ से जादू कैसे होता है, और सब लोग देखिए. This is here and something will happen. नवाज थोड़ी सी खर्ची. ये है हमारे पास ये एक रोप छोटा सा. ये रोप जो है इधर हमने इधर इसके अंदर से चलाया, और आप देखिएगा ये इसको कहते हैं इंडियन रोप ट्रिक. ये इस तरह, और इसको फिर मैंने वापस यहीं पे रखा खुली. भाई वाह, ये इतना है, इसके अंदर थोड़ा मिट्टी लग गया, लेकिन मिट्टी को जो है हम इधर से हटा देंगे इसको वापस, और वापस रखने के बाद इसको हम यहाँ से और चला देंगे.
Then, in the middle of the trick, at a crucial point, something went wrong. The rope did reappear.
ये हो गया. चलो
We waited. Teller tried to keep the crowd occupied. We feared the great Indian rope trick would lose some of its splendor in the dark. Well, being a street magician is not easy. Over there you see some panicked performers trying to fix a trick that didn't work. Over there you see the sun setting in the west. Time is running out. Just when it all seemed too late, the trick was back on. We saw the rope, but we were still hoping the boy would get chopped up and put back together, of course.
सीधे पकड़. ऊपर भाई वाह, चढ़ो ऊपर हो. So this is the Indian rope. बच्चे नीचे आ जाओ. और ये आवाज के साथ जाएगा, आप देखिए. बच्चे गिरा दो उसको.
There it is. There's the Indian rope trick in front of the Taj Mahal. It's just great the way the kid climbs up and it's solid, and then the fall at the end. Very nice fall at the end. Okay, we've done all our research. All the clues we'd scene, all the mystic stuff they peddle over here, it all came together. Elisa Modine performed a great modern version of rope trick. The traditional rope trick is a myth. It never happened. It's an amalgam of many of the tricks we've seen here in India. It was time for Penn and Teller's Indian rope trick. Our plan is to make people believe the traditional rope trick is real. This is complicated, so listen up. We set up the Penn and Teller version of the trick in a Delhi courtyard. The idea is for Teller and I to find a couple of tourists on a nearby street and convince them to come with us to see the trick so we can get their reactions for a documentary film. Igor, Peter, and I go out, but the trick will never really happen. We're just setting it up so it looks like it just did. And at that time, you will run in right into the shot and say they're doing the rope trick, they've already started. The crew's job is to make like we screwed up and just miss the shot as we run in with the tourists to find the end of the trick playing out. Chip is in here with Indian extras, we even recruited a bunch of locals to pretend they just witnessed the trick. Our boys all set to go. We choreographed every detail, down to the chopped up boy, blood dripping from his rejoined limbs. That's all we need. That's it. Okay, here goes. Is my partner Teller, Penn and Teller Magicians.
Oh yeah.
And we're doing a show on the Indian rope trick. You heard of the Indian rope trick?
Yeah. I've seen it before on TV, but I've never seen it done live.
Never seen it live. This is a trick where the rope goes in the air, boy scampers up right on cue. Crew ran in to tell us the trick had started. Let's go. We're going. Just go. It's working. It's working. Some locals believe that the rope trick had actually been performed. In order to do that Indian rope trick, we needed everybody involved, because that's what the Indian rope trick has to be. It has to be a story, and the only place the trick happens is in people's heads, which is the only place that the magic happens ever.
Alimas.
Our myth-making worked.
I would bet anything that within a week everyone will be saying the rope trick is performed to it. Within a month, they'll be swearing to it. All the people who know they missed something are saying, what did I miss? And people are saying the rope trick. The prestige of being inside is so great that all the guys that weren't there are going to say, I saw with my own eyes, I was in. And
So the next documentary team
this
that goes
is
here
a
will be
legend.
coming here. And it's true. After we left the courtyard, all the local talk was of the Westerners who had finally filmed the legendary rope trick. But you know, the real Indian magic's in Shadowpur. The magic of Nasib, Shampasha, Isamuddin, all the cool tricks we saw came out of there. And the legend of the rope trick came from their ancestors, the original Indian street magicians.